Do your best on a daily basis to recognize who you are, recognize what you have gone through in life, recognize the things that have been holding you back, recognize the beliefs that you're holding on to.
I'm highly thankful. I'm thankful today. I feel good today. Today is the day that I step out of my shell and I recognize that I'm great. Today is a beautiful day.
One of the reasons why you want to focus on developing self-awareness on a daily basis is because chances are you're not where you want to be. Chances are you are dealing with being in a situation and being in a place in life where you're saying to yourself, I know there's more out there. I know I want to do more. I know that there's a lot more for me to do in life, but how do I unlock that? Right? So that critical point where you feel like, how do I get from where I am to where I want to be? And that gap, that place that you're in where you need to jump from where you are to where you want to be, the thing that's going to unlock that for you is your self-awareness. You have to be reminded of who you are as a person. You have to become totally aware of who you are so that you understand how to get where you want to be in life, right? So let's look at some of the things that stops people from being aware. One of the reasons that a lot of times people are unaware is because they're constantly in a state of fighting for who they are. And what I mean by that is, growing up, you have your parents telling you certain things to do because, and it's not a bad thing, right? Because a lot of times parents are just doing their best to be able to help you get the information that you need, or help you get to where, in their minds, they want you to get to a place where they believe you're going to be good in life. And so a lot of times, right, because of the age difference and the way the world changes, and not necessarily that the world is extremely different from when they were born, but there's a lot more opportunities as a younger generation, right, from your parents. So your parents are going to give you this belief or the beliefs that they held on to when they were younger. And it's like, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, I want you to do this, so you can have security in your life, so you'll know how to take care of yourself. But a lot of times what that does is it's stopping you from being your individual self. It's stopping you from being creative. It's stopping you from being your most authentic self, because you have to go this quote unquote safe route and ultimately abandoning who you are. And so when that happens at a very young age, you find yourself creating a habit of doing that over and over and over. You'll find yourself in relationships that may not necessarily be for you, but since it's no real reason to let them go, oh, they didn't cheat on me, or they're not that bad, you kind of stay in these relationships because you've created a habit of ignoring yourself. You've created a habit, and that wasn't intentional. That's not your fault, but you were kind of trained to not pay attention to you. And so ultimately you have people that are waking up, or you have people that are growing up, and they're finding that they're having trouble really expressing themselves in the world and being who they are and looking for the awareness, because they have been detoured from being themselves. So self-awareness is being able to ask yourself who you are and why are you doing what you're doing? What motivates you? What drives you to do the things that you're doing now? And are those things helping you? Are those things helpful to you? Are those things what you want to be doing? Do they put you in a good feeling? And if they don't, then why am I doing these things? And being able to go into the root of why, right? Give you an example, right? So say if there's a guy that didn't necessarily get the love he wanted to get from, it could be a guy or a girl, right? But didn't get the love he wanted to get from his mother. And so he's out there womenizing women all day long, and he's constantly filling one slot with another and constantly chasing tail all day long because he's looking for a feeling. And then even when he gets that woman, he's blocked in being able to truly express himself and be one with that person and be present with her and truly connect to her, because he's found this internal battle. And that battle was, he may not be conscious of it, but the battle is, oh, I never really felt love from my mother. And so it's very hard for him to feel the love from the women. So he looks at it in a physical conquest, like, oh, well, I just got to go and deal with this woman, and I'm going to get that feeling of like feeling complete, or that feeling of being whole by just consistently being with women and exchanging that energy from them, because he's never really had an intimate relationship with his mom. So he doesn't really know how to go into this level of truly connecting. And so if he's not aware of why he's doing what he's doing, he's going to stay in that cycle over and over and over and over and over and be like, oh, well, why can't I get a good woman? Or what? Oh, they just don't work out for me. I'm not in a situation, or I just don't meet the right type of women. It's really because he hasn't really found out that, yo, listen, that nurturing, that beginning love that we all deserve growing up, you didn't get that. And so you created a story in your mind, and you put a block because you was like, oh, well, since I'm not getting the love that I want, everybody else is going to get this. Everybody else is going to get this, like this half-heartedness from me. And I'm going to be closed. I'm not going to give nobody the real me, the true me, because I was let down. I was abandoned. I wasn't given the attention and the nurturing that I needed. And so that happens at such a young age, and in such a place in time that most times people are unaware of what they did to protect themselves, which is ultimately creating a pattern, because they're not able to really go into the version of them that allows them to be free. Right? So that's like an example of what people are experiencing, like what some people may experience that has stopped them from being their most like authentic self, and they won't really be aware of like, why am I doing what I'm doing? Sometimes people just think that, oh, this is just me. Nah, it has a root. It has a root. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. And if you don't recognize why you're doing what you're doing, you'll stay in that pattern. The other thing is why it's essential to have like self-awareness. Hold on one second. I'm a little hot. I'm sweating over here. I want to open up this window, but they kind of performing. Let me just open it up anyway. Another reason why it's important to have self-awareness is because this world is consistently judging you, right? Like, no, it doesn't matter what you do. You're judged for damn near everything you do. And so sometimes you'll find people that they don't want to be judged on so many levels that they just follow the leader on everything, or just fall in line with everything that they do, so they don't step out of line and be criticized or ostracized, made fun of, or be embarrassed. And so that feeling, people are consistently running from that feeling. And so ultimately what that feeling does is it keeps you in a state of unawareness. You're unaware of who you are, because the fear of being judged, the fear of being laughed at, the fear of these things stand out in people's minds so much that it stops them from being in the present moment. Because it's like, yo, if I do this, what if this happens? If I do this, what if this happens? If I do this, what if? And so people are not in the present moment, which is stopping you from flowing, which is stopping you from being where you want to be in life. Because in order to be where you need to be in life, you need to be present of the moment. You need to be thinking. You need to be constantly aware of what's being suggested to my mind. What thoughts is coming to my mind? What are these thoughts helping me? Are these thoughts like immobilizing me? Or they propelling me to grow? They propelling me to continue to strive for more? Or am I being imprisoned by my thoughts? And so self-awareness is a superpower, because it allows you to be conscious of who you are. And once you start to realize like, oh, I'm holding on to these things of not feeling worthy because my father didn't show up when he was supposed to show up, or I was mistreated. I was taken advantage of by this person. I was abused by this person, or I saw my mother get beat, or I saw my father turn a drug addict. And so all of these things is in the mind, and it creates a pattern of thinking. And so you have to be conscious of, why am I doing what I'm doing? Because if you're not where you want to be, it's not that there's outside elements stopping you. It's because you're holding on to beliefs that's keeping you stagnant in a place where you don't want to be. So you have to go and identify all of those beliefs that you're holding on to, which is linked to a fear, which is linked to, I don't want to feel this way. And so when you are aware of these things, and then you can say, yo, why am I thinking that this is going to happen? Why am I thinking if I put myself out in the world, I'm going to be laughed at? Why am I putting that in my mind? Why am I putting the biggest fear in my mind as opposed to putting the biggest joy in my mind? What am I not connecting to that I should be connecting to? And what am I connecting to that I should not be connecting to? Because if you're putting anything in your mind that is a forecast of somewhere where you don't want to be, or a forecast of something that you don't want, you're stopping yourself from living in your truth. And you need to be aware of what thoughts is going on in your mind that's stopping you from being you.
I'm highly thankful. I'm thankful today. I feel good today. Today is the day that I step out of my shell and I recognize that I'm great. Today is a beautiful day.